Whether you're a hardcore traditionalist or you're a brand new pop country fan, you know who Morgan Wallen is. He is everywhere. And whether you love him or hate him, it's hard to deny the magnitude of his success. I would make the argument Morgan might just overtake Luke Combs in popularity, but that's a whole nother discussion. I'm not necessarily talking about likability because Luke is one of the most likable people on planet Earth. I mean, we all saw his reaction when Eric Church won Entertainer of the Year. But in terms of sheer size, I think Morgan could give Luke a run for his money. But without wasting any more of your time, this is why I'm so intrigued by Morgan Wallen's upcoming double album, Dangerous. Flashback to April 27th, 2018. Musically, a day most people will remember as the release of Post Malone's sophomore smash, Beer Bongs and Bentleys. For us country fans, we saw the release of Morgan Wallen's debut album, If I Know Me. And Graffiti You, but who actually cares about Keith Urban anymore, especially after The Speed of Now, which, sorry Keith Urban fans, but it might be the worst album of 2020. I can't say I listened to this album when it came out, or even knew that it existed. All I knew about Morgan Wallen was he had a song with Florida Georgia Line that the radio and myself enjoyed. If I'm being honest, I only began really paying attention to Morgan during the rise and domination of whiskey glasses. We all know the time I'm talking about, summer 2019. It was my jam, it was your jam, it was everyone's jam. Only then did I connect the dots between Whiskey Glasses and Up Down and decided to give the rest of Morgan's music a listen. Fast forward to today and we are roughly a month and a half away from Morgan Wallen's sophomore album, which took almost 3 years to even be announced. Let me lay out what we already know as base knowledge. Dangerous is a double album containing 30 tracks, 15 for each respective album. Currently available in order from the first album are Somebody's Problem, Cover Me Up, 7 Summers, and More Than My Hometown. From the second album, we have Still Going Down, This Bar, Heartless, Wallen album mix, and Livin' the Dream. Lastly, especially over quarantine, we received lots of acoustic performances and demos of unreleased songs. From the first album, we've heard bits and pieces of Wasted on You, Warning, and Wondering About the Wind. And from the second album, the lone track we got a sneak peek of is the third and title track of the double album, Dangerous. With that in mind, let's start picking away at this very ambitious project. Based on what we've got, at first glance, I was significantly more optimistic and excited for the first of the 2 albums. And though I haven't become less interested in the first album, I'm beginning to wonder if there's more intention than I realized behind the second. Dangerous Part 1 is intriguing. 3 of the 4 songs we have from the first album are the 3 that close the album out: Cover Me Up, 7 Summers, and More Than My Hometown, respectively. Upon a surface-level dive, I came to the common conclusion that this is no Abel Tesfaye style album that follows a plot. What I mean by that is best displayed in The Weeknd's most recent album, After Hours. After Hours finds Abel Tesfaye, or The Weeknd, in this persona or alter ego. Whenever he performs from this album, he wears his almost Michael Jackson-style red jacket suit with his weathered, injured look. The songs themselves are ordered and written so that it follows and tells a story of this Abel's journey. I understand that the music videos are intertwined, but 2 things. I haven't taken the time to really formulate my own opinion, and I'm getting carried away. Long story short, this seemed like a standard country album, which is almost a compilation of tracks. They may carry a similar sound over the course of the project, but there's no undermining plot like you'll find in other genres. Not to say that that doesn't happen in country, but it's much more common in other genres. But the more I've been thinking about it, the more I believe I might be wrong, which is the first reason I'm so excited for this project. There might be more than meets the eye. Somebody's Problem, which by the way is incredible in my opinion, is about Morgan seeing this girl despite acknowledging she's trouble and her ex's or somebody's problem. But he still wants to see where it can go. This actually ties nicely into the ending of the album, which I previously mentioned, especially when you look at a song like 7 Summers, which is also incredible, and I can guarantee you'll hear it again in my year rewind. 7 Summers is obviously about a teen romance that simply, for many reasons, didn't work out. When Morgan featured on Genius Verified series, he briefly tossed in this idea of the girl in the story moving from Florida to Tennessee, but also saying how she wants to move back to Florida in the future. Morgan goes on to say how he doesn't want to move to Florida, but proceeds to say what I find interesting. He says he wasn't going to stop her. Sound familiar? Yes, it does, because this is literally what More Than My Hometown is about. Mentioning how the bright lights called this girl and how he doesn't blame her for wanting to pack it up and leave, but he doesn't want to go. He can't love her more than his hometown. And that's how the first album concludes. However, we were also given the opener of album 2, Still Going Down. I would be lying to you if I said I enjoyed this song very much. I've probably listened to it 3 or 4 times, and 2 of those are the night it came out. It's a pop country blend that, though it isn't awful, it's nothing desirable or new. However, I still have hope for this song and the second album in general. You're gonna have to hear me out on this one because it's more speculation and prediction rather than the first album where I was using lyrics and whatnot to help illustrate my point. Still Going Down is simple. All it's saying is that it's still going down in the country, people are still having fun. I'm intrigued because I think this could tie into the first album. Rather than it being 2 separate books, Dangerous might be a single book with 2 chapters. This would make way more sense because when I first heard he was releasing a double album, my thought was why wouldn't he just do what Cody Jinks did not long ago where he released 2 separate albums a week apart. Maybe the reason is Dangerous is supposed to be one whole project. My prediction, again based on not very much evidence at all, is that Still Going Down is an indirect message to this girl the first album is based around and telling her, hey, I'm doing fine up here, having a blast and not missing you at all. However, something happens in the core of this second album and it spirals out of control, leading to Livin' the Dream, which despite not being very country at all, I do enjoy it. Also, quickly, I want to add, there seems to be a real vibe change between the 2 albums. The first one is a much more dreamy, rootsy production, while the second one seems to have a much more urgency or aggression behind it. Just wanted to throw that in so you kind of have it on the back burner. Back to the video. Livin' the Dream is simple, honest, and to put it frankly, sad. It's simply Morgan just telling everyone the high life isn't all what it's worked up to be. There's loads going on backstage that we will never see. This brings me to one of my concluding thoughts or dilemmas, depending on how you view it. You can draw loads of parallels between Livin' the Dream and Morgan's life. He's obviously had his fair share of trouble under the spotlight with the whole Saturday Night Live incident. He was arrested at the Kid Rock bar, so in that sense, it would almost dismiss this idea of an undermining plot or story, unless Dangerous is Morgan's life told through music. What if Dangerous the double album is actually just an autobiography of Morgan's life that follows him from a child to where he is now? It sounds like a bit of a stretch until you consider the opener for album 1 is titled Sand in My Boots. Just food for thought, but it sounds like a rather childish title. So, could this whole 30-track monster of an album have much more meaning than we considered? We will find out on January 8th, 2021, or we won't. There may not be enough evidence to dismiss or confirm my theory, but this whole video is just meant to be fun, food for thought speculation. 30 songs seems like a marketing scheme, and though I'm not denying that Morgan is going for a couple records with this album, I'm just throwing it out there that maybe it's justified by being some Frank Ocean Blonde style album that really has this underlying story you have to dig really deep to understand. Or it couldn't, and I could be way overanalyzing this whole situation, but that's part of the fun and anticipation in the build-up to an album like this. We simply don't know what we're in for. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and want to see more of these, as Grady calls them, video essays, because they're quite fun to make. I really go down some deep rabbit holes while pondering these thoughts. Make sure you're subscribed, especially since they're coming up on the year rewind, which I've already voiced my excitement for. And yeah, other than that, I think I've said everything I needed to say. So yeah, have a great day.